What if you woke up alone in deep space? No memory of who you are, no idea why you're there, only to discover the sun is dying. Therefore, you might be humanity's last chance to survive? That's not a trailer hook. That's the actual story behind Project Hail Mary, one of the most talked about sci-fi adaptations, heading to theaters in 2026. If the name sounds familiar, it should. This novel comes from Andy Weir, the same author behind The Martian. That book turned into a massive Matt Damon film. Now, Hollywood is betting big again, this time with Ryan Gosling leading the mission. Project Hail Mary follows Ryland Grace, a former scientist turned middle school teacher who wakes up alone on a spaceship with total amnesia. He doesn't remember his name, his mission, or why two dead crewmates are floating nearby. Slowly, through flashbacks, he realizes something terrifying. The sun is dimming. Earth faces a catastrophic ice age within decades. Scientists discover the cause: microscopic alien organisms absorbing solar energy. Grace once studied them. He becomes part of a desperate interstellar mission to find a solution at another star system called Tau Ceti, the only nearby star not affected. Here's the twist that makes this story special. Grace is not a fearless astronaut. He didn't volunteer out of pure heroism. He was forced into the mission because there was no one else qualified. That human fear, hesitation, or vulnerability makes this story very different from traditional space epics. Meanwhile, once he reaches Tau Ceti, he encounters something unexpected: another alien spacecraft. Inside is a being fans now consider one of the most unique sci-fi characters in recent years, an engineer named Rocky. Rocky is not humanoid, not charming in a traditional way, not speaking English. Communication happens through science, math, or shared problem solving. Their friendship builds through physics equations instead of emotional speeches. That's where the heart of this story lives. Readers love that dynamic because it turns a survival story into something deeper. It becomes about cooperation across species, about trust built on logic, about sacrifice. The novel exploded in popularity when it released in 2021. It spent weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. The audiobook won major awards. Even Bill Gates or Barack Obama publicly recommended it. That kind of crossover attention rarely happens for hard science fiction. Critics praise the mix of humor, real scientific detail, or emotional stakes. Some pointed out small logical flaws, which is normal for science-heavy stories. Still, most agreed it felt like classic space adventure done right. Now let's talk about the movie. Ryan Gosling is set to star as Ryland Grace. That casting alone changes the tone slightly. Gosling brings quiet intensity. He's not an over-the-top action hero. He's more internal, thoughtful, emotionally layered. That fits this character perfectly. The film is directed by Phil Lord or Christopher Miller, the duo behind the Lego Movie or Spider-Verse. That's interesting, because they balance humor with emotional depth extremely well. Drew Goddard, who adapted The Martian for the screen, wrote the screenplay. That connection gives fans confidence. The science-heavy elements won't feel overwhelming. Sandra H. Lur joins the cast as Ava Stratt, the tough administrator pushing the global survival mission forward. Her role is crucial because she represents Earth's desperation. She makes impossible decisions for the sake of humanity. Production is backed by Amazon MGM Studios, with a scheduled theatrical release on March 20th, 2026. That spring release window often signals studio confidence. It's not buried in winter. It's positioned as a major cinematic event. What makes this adaptation fascinating is the challenge. Much of the book happens inside one spaceship. A lot of tension comes from internal thought process, scientific experimentation, or quiet problem solving. Translating that into a visually gripping film requires creativity. However, if executed properly, this could become the next big intelligent sci-fi hit. Not just explosions, not just spectacle. Instead, a story about loneliness, curiosity, or the willingness to sacrifice for strangers you'll never meet. There's also a philosophical layer here. The title Project Hail Mary refers to a desperate final attempt, like throwing a last-second football pass with no guarantee of success. Humanity is essentially gambling everything on one fragile plan. The emotional core comes from choice. Grace eventually faces a moment where he must decide between saving Earth or saving another civilization. That moral dilemma elevates the story beyond survival. It asks what responsibility we carry beyond our own species. If the film captures that balance of heart, science, humor, or scale, it could easily stand alongside Interstellar or The Martian in modern space cinema conversations. So the real question is this: will Project Hail Mary become the smartest blockbuster of 2026? Or will adapting such a science-dense novel prove harder than expected? Either way, Ryan Gosling floating alone in deep space, trying to save the sun is already one of the most intriguing setups we've seen in years. Are you excited for this adaptation? Or do you think The Martian still holds the crown for best modern space survival film? Let me know in the comments, because if Hollywood gets this one right, we may be witnessing the birth of a new sci-fi classic. And if you want more movie updates, breakdowns, or upcoming film news every week, make sure you subscribe. Space cinema is about to get very interesting.